Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off with locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, aunt and nephew bandits, alleged bandits, shot dead by FUL holder. Illegal firearm user shot and killed a bandit and his getaway driver aunt who attempted to rob him of his vehicle in Santa Cruz early Saturday morning. A third bandit escaped and ran away. They were later identified as Swivy Gani, 29, of Gasparillo Road, Santa Cruz, and her nephew, Aaron Brandon Ramdani, 18 years of age. My response? Wonderful news. At least it sounds like wonderful news. This is why we need the rights to bear arms. Understand your ground law needs to be legislated. I fully support the stand your ground law. This is a reminder also to those in the Indo community that criminals exist in both majority populations here in TNT. Gang culture and worship of weed and other drugs is destroying our nation. Having said that, people, let's just hope that the hero, the so-called hero, didn't stage a murder as an attempted robbery gone wrong. We all celebrate a death of a so-called bandit a couple years ago, and later out we found out that he was actually unarmed and innocent and was innocent of any crime. I think it was last year when a so-called hero pulled away the gun from the bandit, turned around and killed him. Yes, and everybody praised and glorified the so-called hero, including myself. And then a couple of weeks later, we found out that the entire thing was staged and this man, the victim, was targeted. So, of course, as much as I support the stand your ground law, people, don't get me wrong. The stand your ground law is mainly, number one, for your home, your personal property, and your business to an extent, but you need to make sure and have your cameras. So therefore you could be able to show your evidence that in fact armed robbers were trying to invade your business. In your home, no one is supposed to be jumping over your wall. No neighbor is going to jump over your wall to come and talk to you. No family member is going to jump over your wall, jump over your gate. So therefore, anyone committing those sorts of acts definitely pose a threat to you. So, of course, I fully support emptying the clip in cases like that. But when you're in the public, like how this individual is in the public, and he is claiming that these individuals tried to rob him, I would like to know one thing though. Were they all armed? Were they all armed? Remember, this is not you in your house, and you are looking at these armed bandits coming at you, coming into your home. Then you're going to empty the clip, and of course, maybe, just maybe, some may not be armed, and they will end up being sent into eternity as well. We are talking here about a situation where there's an alleged, I will say alleged, there's an alleged robbery that took place, and yet the driver of the getaway car was also killed. Was she armed? Was she trying to shoot at this FUL holder, this businessman or whatever he is? To me, it is sounding strange. Once again, Trinidadians, of course, will not agree with me. I'm always standing on the fringe of everything. And both sides don't ever really agree with me. But I'm just asking questions, people. I'm not so quick to act, as much as I said this is wonderful news, but as if it did in fact have a robbery. I truly hope that the police conduct a thorough investigation to ensure that the claims made by this individual are true. A father and son were robbed by gunmen of $15,000, their phones, ID cards, bank cards, everything, of course, most likely that was in their wallets, after meeting a stranger from Facebook to buy a car from them. Now, the thing about it is, this was posted by Live Zone, and they love to use that kind of term, a stranger from Facebook. So, of course, most likely it was marketplace on Facebook. But many individuals, I myself have used marketplace in the past. Will I use it now? Not because of the amount of scams it has there now. I would not. But I don't blame and I don't judge anybody else who posts their products. They're trying to get sales, who also purchase products off of marketplace. Because a lot of people use that and don't end up being robbed or anything like that, are never even harmed or anything. Of course, people on Live Zone a lot of the people laughed at the incident. So my response is, instead of laughing at the victims who attempted to purchase a vehicle that was advertised online, try condemning the actions of the worthless, the whatless Trinidad thugs who are making it extremely hard for small business owners to sell their products on Facebook and other social media platforms. This is not a joke anymore, people. There are many individuals, including myself, who use social media to promote products, services. I have family members who actually have online businesses, and these despicable Trinidad thugs are making it extremely hard for them to make a profit, because everything people see online now, they wonder if it's a scam. They wonder if it's some bandit posing as a business. It's making it extremely hard for the legitimate businesses. And then we have these very popular social media pages that are discouraging people from purchasing products online. You have to be vigilant. You have to be cautious. You have to be wise, but you have to support local content as well. You have to support the small business owners as well, people. Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, says the state has cancelled the sponsorship of the Independence Day fireworks display on August 31st, noting that the funds would be better spent elsewhere at this time. Now, I fully agree with them, but it just goes to show how bankrupt Emperor Thanos Rowley's PNM, patriotic PNM, Mighty Morphin, Guyana, Weaning, taxing PNM left this country, how bankrupt they left it. However, he said permits will be issued to citizens for the use of silent fireworks only. Now, I have always opposed banning fireworks completely. I believe it's part of our culture, it's a part of the culture throughout the world to use fireworks in times of celebration, not on a daily basis, but in times of celebration. But to compromise with those who have an issue with it, using the silent version sounds like a perfect idea to me. Minister of Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein also defended the government's move not to host an Independence Day fireworks display and to only allow silent or noiseless fireworks for private use. Minister Hussein said switching to only citizens to use these silent fireworks will not only take the stress off of animals, but also the elderly and children, especially Port of Spain and environs. He also pointed out that the issue of noise pollution was a manifesto promise, and I hope definitely that they enforce it. I hope they definitely enforce it in the communities as well, for all the DJs that love to advertise their music. But I am a DJ to an extent, because I've been selling music for decades, now for over a decade now, nearly 2 decades. But when you're living in a community, you have to have consideration for other people. Everybody has their life to live. And you cannot be playing music on a daily basis so loudly that everybody else's lives are being disrupted. My response, the beauty of the lights in the sky is what matters most, not really the noise. I mean, the noise is, honestly speaking, sounds nice to me. Especially for New Year's and stuff like that. You see the sparks and the lights and then you hear the noise too. It sounds nice. But as I said, I can compromise. I'd agree with a compromise. So I said the beauty of the lights in the sky is what matters the most. So as long as fireworks are still allowed, we shouldn't have a problem with using the silent versions.
The administration has since cancelled the sponsorship of the fireworks display. We have seen it fit at this time to not to burden the public purse with that type of sponsorship when we could use it at this time to further conduct operations which will further disrupt the organized crime syndicate. We also want to inform members of the public that the government will, however, issue permits solely for the sale and use of silent fireworks. So in other words, when UNC wins, the animals won, the elderly won, the unborn children won, the newborn babies won, and those who are sick and afflicted, lying in bed, they too won. That decision again, taking into consideration the burden on the public purse, we prefer to use that funds to help to strengthen the security apparatus in this fight against organized crime.
Rest assured, again I reiterate, the government has made a very responsible decision with respect to national security, and I think you would have raised in your first question, one of those concerns with respect to discerning the explosions between fireworks and firearms and so on. So rest assured, we have made a very responsible decision, and we have considered various factors based on guidance from the security agencies.
And let me also ask you, how do you measure the effect on the population in terms of its value and monetary value? How do you do that? For years, many of you all here, I saw you all write reports, many years, of the effect that the loud fireworks had on its population. And now a decision has been made, so we expect the persons who was affected before will have a better understanding now of the direction we intend to take it. Yeah? And we hope that we have saved the population, medicals and otherwise, and the babies could now enjoy the arms of their parents without panicking.
And we're not going to risk the security of a nation for one's man profit.
Family of murdered teacher. This was so... Anyhow, let me read it first and then I will give my commentary. Family of murdered teacher, angry. They are angry and rightfully so over extremely light sentences for killers. This is going to take a while, people, but for those who support my content, listen carefully. The family of slain teacher Bagmat Simangal has condemned the reduced prison terms, the significantly reduced prison terms given to 5 men, including her husband, who pleaded guilty to her 2009 murder. The 33-year-old mother and educator was killed in a conspiracy orchestrated by then Police Constable Sunil Akalu. And I believe that's one of the main reasons why these individuals were given such light sentences. Because in this country, police officers live above the law. And therefore, even if they murder their own relatives, sometimes they escape time in prison. He's still going to have to spend some time. Who paid $20,000 to have her frightened? That was the so-called plan, just to frighten her, so he could gain custody of their child. So they were probably estranged. They were not together at that point in time. Court documents detail how Akalu disabled locks, left gates open, and provided knives for the attackers, who staged a home invasion in which Bagmat was tied up, robbed, and dragged from her home before being stabbed to death and dumped in bushes of San Luis Road, Guayco. So the question is, people, that sounds as though that is frightening somebody. Nah, don't tell me that was the actual plan. Why would they go ahead and actually kill her if it was just to frighten her? An alleged spiritual advisor connected to Akalu to Maran Lee, who recruited the others. Simangal's belongings were later pawned and sold. They sell the woman belongings, so they murder and then sold her belongings. The sentences handed down on July 25th were as follows. Akalu only gets 6 years. 6 years for conspiring to murder his estranged wife. And 1 month, 27 days. Lee got 2 years alone. 9 months, 27 days. David Paris received 10 months, 13 days. Siobhan Jamal Lee received 2 years, 2 months, and 18 days. And Cleveland Anthony Thomas received 4 years, 4 months, 25 days. Maybe he was the main perpetrator of the crime. I don't know. But basically, he got what? Probably the second most amount, or second highest sentence compared to the husband. All will serve their sentences with hard labor from the date of sentencing. So were they on bail all this time? Because usually there's something called time served. So I don't know. But anyhow, her brother, attorney, and former government minister Jairam Simangal said, "This is not justice," and he's completely correct. "This is not closure either. My sister was taken from us in the most savage and calculated way. That her husband, a police officer, orchestrated her murder and now walks away with a 6-year sentence is a betrayal, not only of her memory, but of the entire justice system." Exactly. And I hope, anyhow, so my response was, laws need to be amended so that these biased, corrupt, and incompetent judges, and even the prosecutors who carry out these deals, these despicable deals that allow these monsters to end up back on the streets, incompetent judges are mandated to sentence cold-hearted killers to life or rope. Plea deals, people, should never allow monsters to walk free in such a short space of time, if ever. The maximum penalty for murder is rope. So a plea deal should reduce it to life in prison or minimum of 20 years. You get a man 6 years, and most likely the individual who committed the crime itself 4 years. What the hell was that judge thinking, boy? I was going to say something, but I shall stay quiet. These demons will feel free to commit similar crimes in the future. After that 6 years and 4 years done, they come back out to their normal again, you know. They're normal. These demons will feel free to commit similar crimes in the future and simply seek another plea deal in order to escape a long prison sentence. A joint operation conducted in the Northern and Port of Spain divisions on Thursday, August 14, 2025, led to the seizure of 527 grams of compressed cannabis with an estimated street value of $57,970 and the arrest of one man. Now, of course, I have nothing against confiscating the drug, marijuana, because it is a drug, although the vast majority of Trinidadians have fallen in love with it and made it a god, a false god. The main false god of Trinidad and Tobago now is marijuana. People live their entire lives just to be able, they work hard, or they go and steal just to be able to smoke the herb and drink puncheon or Hennessy, drink the truth puncheon or Hennessy. I'm telling you, something is wrong. But at the end of the day, we are living in those times. We are living in those times where evil has become good and good has become evil. So anyhow, I don't have any issue with that. But that is that little sardines you catch there. And that's a little small amount of the drugs. We are looking and we are waiting to hear when the main big kahunas, the big fish, are caught. And the tons upon tons of illegal drugs are also confiscated. Now for some news from Guyana, Irfan Ali posted last night actually. It's a warning for people, a notification. And he says, please be aware that there's a fake and malicious advertisement circulating on social media under the title, Irfan Ali, $15,000, Guyanese of course, campaign funds for Guyana. He says, we want to categorically inform the public that there's no campaign fund being run by President Ali or any other candidate or representative of the People's Progressive Party, the PPP. Please do not click the link to the domain site as it may contain malicious malware or spyware that could infect your device or potentially steal your personal information. That's how a lot of people end up losing their accounts and losing their banking accounts as well, you know. Not just their social media accounts. These are deceptive promotions intended to create confusion and mischief as we approach the general and regional elections on September 1st. Guyana's housing sector is on the cusp of greater advancement, with the government looking to construct 30,000 new homes within the next 5 years. And remember, Guyana's population is much smaller. Well, not much. But it is smaller than ours. I don't think they have reached 1 million yet. At least last time I checked, it was around 800,000. Could be wrong. Probably has grown by then. Since then. This massive undertaking, according to President Dr. Irfan Ali, will build on the country's already thriving momentum, creating 150,000 jobs and pumping over $450 billion into the economy. Now, this is why it's so important for the citizens of Guyana to make the right decision, give Irfan Ali a second term in office. News from Jamaica. An investigation has been launched after a police constable was held while reportedly attempting to smuggle contraband to inmates at the Hunts Bay Police lockup in St. Andrew. Police are telling you that some of the biggest criminals in all countries around the world, they just wear a badge so that they can get away with committing their crimes. Reports are that about 8:40 p.m. Thursday, the 22-year-old suspect was scheduled for duty on the 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. shift at the lockup was held with vegetable matter resembling ganja, the weed, the herb, the god of Trinidad and Tobago, the false god of Trinidad and Tobago. Members of the notorious St. James-based Caton Defense Force gang were contracted for $100,000 to kill a policeman. And listen to the name of that gang now, boy. So they're pretending to be what? State controlled now or something like that. Defense force, now, boy. Papa. Jamaica, boy. Anyhow, so to kill a policeman and members of his family. Wow. So it's going after the whole family just to wipe them out. Police investigators say. The probe is continuing and the police are awaiting scientific analysis. However, they provided the public with an update on the matter on Friday evening. Now let's just say that police officer is corrupt. That doesn't justify vigilante justice. The same way how I totally condemn extrajudicial killings, I do not believe in citizens taking the law into their own hands either. Now for some international news. A family is mourning after a woman was killed in a hit-and-run crash on the 110 freeway in Carson. Months later, no charges have been filed against the alleged DUI driver involved in the incident. Why? Why all around the world these people get away with murder just because they were driving a vehicle? And worse yet, they were drunk. They were either drunk or high on weed. The relative says it doesn't sit right because it's injustice, said Anthony Mata in tears as he mourns the death of his daughter. Video from the aftermath of the crash shows the car ripped apart on the side of the 110 freeway. Back in June, Angelina Davis was riding in the car with her boyfriend when California Highway Patrol said a speeding car hit them from behind. The car crashed into a guardrail near Torrance Boulevard. The suspect hit my daughter at 11:35 on Father's Day. What a day to lose your child, boy. He fled the scene, Mata said. That people, I wonder if the person was ever found, was ever apprehended. And if so, why charges haven't been laid. I'm telling you, laws need to be changed across the world. If you kill somebody using your vehicle, that is still murder. You should be charged with murder, not manslaughter, murder. And if it is you were under the influence of alcohol or weed or anything like that or drugs, you should be sent into eternity. News from India. Incessant rain since Friday night lashed Mumbai, flooding roads, disrupting daily life, and claiming 2 lives, officials said on Saturday. The India Meteorological Department upgraded its warning and issued a red alert for Mumbai and neighboring Raigad district, forecasting extremely heavy rain at isolated places. India has been suffering from those kind of extreme floods for quite a few days now, because I've been following news from India for a couple of weeks now. In the city's Vikhroli West area, 2 people were killed. People lost their lives, and 2 were injured when a landslide hit a residential society in Vashanagar. The Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, BMC, said. Rescue teams are at the scene to clear debris. Of course, that was when I got the information. I don't know if by now probably it has been cleared. Hurricane Erin is intensifying, threatening to reach Category 4 and become the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Hurricane Erin is the 5th named storm, because remember it has other storms, but this is the first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, which is during the months of June through November and reaches its peak in September. So we are very close to when the peak begins, according to the National Hurricane Center, NHC. As of Friday afternoon, Erin reached 75 miles per hour, taking it from a tropical storm with maximum sustained winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour and placing it as a Category 1 hurricane. I hope and pray that people's lives and property are spared and protected in Jesus' name. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share. Stay blessed and stay safe in Jesus' name.